जय श्री कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। जय श्री कृष्ण। Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text 8. Dhritarashtra quits home. Yudhishthiro vacha api smarato na yushmat pakshitaya sameditan vipat ganat visha agni ade mochita yat samatkruka. Translation. Maharaja Yudhishthira said, "My uncle, do you remember how you always protected us, along with our mother, from all sorts of calamities? Your partiality, like the wings of a bird, saved us from poisoning and arson." Purport. Due to Pandu's death at an early stage, his minor children and widow were the object of special care by all the elderly members of the family, especially Bhishma Deva and Mahatma Vidura. Vidura was more or less partial to the Pandavas due to their political positions, although Dhritarashtra was equally careful for the minor children of Maharaja Pandu. He was one of the intriguing parties who wanted to wash away the descendants of Pandu and replace them by raising his own sons to become the rulers of the kingdom. Mahatma Vidura could follow this intrigue of Dhritarashtra and company, and therefore, even though he was faithful servitor of his eldest brother, Dhritarashtra, he did not like his political ambition for the sake of his own sons. He was therefore very careful about the protection of the Pandavas and their widow mother. Thus, he was, so to speak, partial to the Pandavas, preferring them to the sons of Dhritarashtra, although both of them were equally affectionate in his ordinary eyes. He was equally affectionate to both the camps of nephews in the sense that he always chastened Duryodhana for his intriguing policy against his cousins. He always criticized his elder brothers for his policy of encouragement to his sons, and at the same time he was always alert in giving a special protection to the Pandavas. All these different activities of Vidura within the palace politics made him well known as a partial to the Pandavas. Maharaja Yudhishthira has referred to the past history of Vidura before his going away from home for a prolonged pilgrimage journey. Maharaja Yudhishthira reminded him that he was equally kind and partial to his grown-up nephews even after the battle of Kurukshetra, a great family disaster. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra's policy was peaceful annihilation of his nephews, and therefore he ordered his Prochana to build a house at Varnavata, and when the building was finished, Dhritarashtra desired that his brother's family live there for some time. When the Pandavas were going there in the presence of all the members of the royal family, Vidura tactfully gave instructions to the Pandavas about the future plan of Dhritarashtra. This is specially described in the Mahabharata Adi Parva 114. He directly hinted, "A weapon not made of steel or any other metal element can be more than sharp to kill an enemy. And he who knows this is the never kill." That is to say, he hinted that the party of the Pandavas was being sent to Varnavata to be killed, and thus he warned Yudhishthira to be very careful in their new residential palace. He also gave indications of fire and said that the fire cannot extinguish the soul but can annihilate the material body. But one who protects the soul can live. Kunti could not follow such indirect conversation between the Maharaj Yudhishthira and Vidura. And thus, when she inquired from her son about the purport of the conversation, Yudhishthira replied that from the talks of Vidura, it was understood that there was a hint of fire in the house where they were proceeding. Later on, Vidura came to disguise to the Pandavas and informed them that the housekeeper was going to set a fire to the house on the 14th night of the waning moon. It was intrigue of Dhritarashtra that the Pandavas might die altogether with their mother. And by his warning, the Pandavas escaped to the tunnel underneath the earth so that their escape was also unknown to Dhritarashtra. So much so that after setting the fire, the Kauravas were so certain of the death of the Pandavas that Dhritarashtra performed the last rites of death with a great cheerfulness. And during the morning period, all the members of the palace became overwhelmed with a lamentation. But Vidura did not become so because of his knowledge that the Pandavas were alive somewhere. There are so many such instances of calamities, and in each of them, Vidura gave protection to the Pandavas on one hand, and other hand, he tried to restrain his brother Dhritarashtra from such intriguing policies. Therefore, he was always partial to the Pandavas, just as a bird protects its eggs by its wings. Hare Krishna.